Yeah, so permaculture for me, I mean, it's about conscious design and just everything's done with intention. And often people think that it's just about farming or gardening. So permaculture has got nothing to do with me. But permaculture, it infiltrates every aspect of life, from the way you design your room to the way you design your days to the way you design your life. I mean, it really is all integrating of everything that you do. So yeah, the philosophy of permaculture was coined by a guy named Bill Mollison and his student David Holgram in the early 1970s. And basically they were in Tasmania, Australia, and all of a sudden the Australian government on their little island community where they were pretty sufficient with food, and water was collected locally and trash was dealt with on a local level. All of a sudden the Australian government started putting in all these regulations and started really planning these very important things in people's lives in Tasmania, and Bill Mollison's like, what the hell's going on here? They are not planning for long term. They're not planning for that things that really make sense and that are efficient. So they sat down and started writing this manual. And what I love so much about it is that it doesn't really tell you what to do. It more gives you a process of thinking and designing. Often when we think of design, we think of like architects or city planners, but really designing where we put our energy. As the movement began to spread, there became these 2 to 3 week courses, permaculture courses, where you take 5, 10, 15 students or 20 students, and for the solid couple of weeks they were doing nothing but learning about these processes, about physical ways of dealing with water, with dealing with green building, with dealing with garden design, and most importantly is how do these things interrelate with each other. But while you're learning these important things, you're living together in community, you're eating together, you're cooking together. For many people that are take these courses, it's the first time they've ever lived on a farm like this, where most of the food that they eat is coming from right there, and they're involved in the kitchen and in the process, and they're eating food that's made and grown with so much love. I feel like that combination of learning those things and then also getting the experience, what we're really working on making a very big part of these courses is the invisible structure. This concept of beyond the solar and beyond the food and beyond the design and the homes. How are we going to set this up legally? How are we going to make decisions? How are people going to get along? Because I often find that the physical side of permaculture, of sustainable living, we pretty much have down. People around the world have been doing this for so long. The solutions are really out there if you look for them. But maintaining the ecosystem of people really getting along and making decisions in ways that work and make sense long term, and then having families and the educational aspect, I think that's a really important aspect. It's something that Itai and I have really tried to make an important part of this course. We started in Punta Moana, which is a family-owned educational farm, to Kopali Communities, which is a ultra ecological development, to Takotā, which is like a roots communally owned piece of land. And seeing these different structures and seeing how different decisions are being made based on different budgets, I think is really valuable for the students to experience that, because it's not just conceptual stuff. It's not, we're just not learning, oh, you could put a toilet here, a composting toilet here, or you could have your solar like this, or you could put your buildings here. We're actually seeing these designs implemented, ponds and key lines and concepts that if you just really read about and hear about in books are a lot harder to really understand. We're having the opportunity to visit several projects that have these things underway that I really feel like a lot of the students are really getting it, and it's been quite a journey.
Hi, my name is Itai. I'm going to take you on a journey through the permaculture landscapes of Costa Rica.